People have asked about this. Mehdi Hasan released the rest of that interview with Dean Phillips. This will be the last time that Dean Phillips, I would imagine, appears on Zateo.
I won't even go on the block anymore.
There's two people. Like, you wonder, like, why do people ever allow Isaac Chotiner, is that his name, to interview them? And why would they ever allow Mehdi Hasan to interview them? Here is Dean Phillips. And Mehdi asked him about recent legislation that would have placed sanctions on the International Criminal Court chief prosecutor, what is it, Karim Khan, on his adult children. What? And this is because, Congress doesn't want the ICC to bring these prosecutions against Netanyahu and
America, who has the Hague Invasion Act that says we can come after the Hague if they try to lock up any of our political figures or our allies.
And this is also coming on the heels of, and we should say that the chief prosecutor is also looking for 3 war crime indictments against the top 3 Hamas leaders as well. This is coming on the heels of those stories in The Guardian and from 973 and local 972 and Local Call in Israel regarding the Israeli head of Mossad who threatened the earlier ICC chief prosecutor. So here's Mehdi Hasan asking Phillips about that legislation that he supported.
You have said no one is above the law. You've said repeatedly on Twitter in relation to Donald Trump, and I agree with you. You're right. What I don't understand is why you insist on putting Benjamin Netanyahu, who you don't like, you've said that since the beginning of this interview, why you insist on putting him above international law. You were one of 42 House Democrats who voted with Republicans earlier this month to impose sanctions on the ICC chief prosecutor and other ICC officials after he announced he was seeking an arrest warrant for Benjamin Netanyahu. You are a Democrat, a liberal, a supporter of the rule of law, and you're going after the International Criminal Court to protect Benjamin Netanyahu.
They went beyond their purview, Mehdi, and they did not afford, they didn't even follow their own process in this case. Look, I have some misgivings about the ICC. This was very distinct. By the way, he's not above the law.
Pause it. First off, he made that part up.
What about their purview?
No, about their purview and about their process. First of all, we should say, as far as I know, there has not been indictments that have been issued by the ICC. The chief prosecutor is following the process and saying that I am petitioning the court for indictments.
Filing applications for the warrants, exactly.
And to be clear, this investigation has been going on, at least in terms of Israel, for at least 10 years. We know this because we know the story of the top Mossad, the director of the Mossad, or the former director now of the Mossad, threatening the former chief prosecutor of the ICC and her family. So he made up that part. I'm convinced that just came into his head. Go back a little bit.
They did not afford, they didn't even follow their own process in this case. Look, I have some misgivings about the ICC. This was very distinct. By the way, he's not above the law. And in fact, I think everything you just shared, whether it is the prisoner who was just tortured according to this report, war crimes by Hamas, war crimes by Israel. Yes, they should be litigated. It should be transparent. It should be public. I think the way the ICC went about it was absolutely incorrect.
Why?
But do I believe, because they didn't follow their own standards and they were beyond their purview. Of course, Israel and the U.S. not party to the ICC.
Nor is Russia.
And I think, by the way,
first of all, Palestine is party to the ICC, as you know, and Russia isn't. And we all supported the ICC arrest warrants against Putin. Biden was happy with it, said it was good.
Like I just said, it's beyond their purview. And secondly,
why is Putin not beyond their purview, but Netanyahu is?
Well, I think the whole methodology, frankly, of the ICC right now.
I get that, but you didn't vote for sanctions on the ICC when they went after Putin, only after Netanyahu.
I understand. In this case, I do not believe that the way they did not afford Israel even the right to respond. Yeah, I believe in due process. let me put it that way. I believe in due process. The way they pursued this did not afford him that. Look, I'm not a defender of Benjamin Netanyahu.
Wait, you voted for a bill?
Yeah.
Okay, so this bill you voted for, most Democrats,
Sure.
didn't vote for this bill.
Didn't.
It's so broad. Even if we were to agree with you that they're outside their purview, and they would say they're not, it didn't just go after ICC officials, but also, quote, the immediate family members of ICC officials. That is mob-like behavior, is it not, to go after family members?
And by the way, 95% of what we vote on in Congress has elements that we find distasteful.
But that's
of course, that's our job in Congress. We have a choice. I stand by that vote, of course.
So you stand, hold on. You stand by putting sanctions on ICC Chief Prosecutor Karim Khan's 2 adult sons. What did they do wrong?
Mehdi, what I stand by is a vote. First of all, we have votes in Congress that we know will not end up going anywhere. We have votes that we know will probably be signed into law. They have very different consequences.
So you voted for this one because you don't think it'll be signed into law?
Well, first, no, I voted for this as a message because I do think it's a principle.
A message to ICC Chief Prosecutor Karim Khan's 2 sons. What did they do wrong?
Now, you know that's not what my intent was. And by the way, if you look at everything...
With respect, Congressman,
it's quite obvious what his intent was. His intent was to threaten the chief prosecutor by taking it out on his sons. I don't know why Mehdi doesn't get that. It's clear as day. We're going to attack the ICC for no due process. Incidentally, due process comes when you get an indictment and then you get a question of challenge, not whether or not you get indicted. Wasn't Phillips a prosecutor? Was he a prosecutor? He knows it. There's no due process before you get charged with anything. I mean, how does that work? Everybody, he's making this up. He's making it up.
Let's just say I like due process.
Due process is good, and also, Mehdi.
Also, the process is irrelevant because Israel and America don't.
Listen, I believe in the rule of law, which is why we're going to threaten the family of the prosecutor. That's the way we do things.
I forgot, actually, sorry. Phillips is the gelato heir,
so he wasn't a prosecutor.
No, he's just a business scion.
Okay, well, there you go. That makes more sense.
You know that's not what my intent was. And by the way, if you look at everything...
With respect, Congressman, it doesn't matter what your intent is.
Then look,
it matters what you voted for. You voted for a very mafiosi bill, which says...
bill. No,
you don't think going after the children of a prosecutor
they're not going after
Trump-like,
Mehdi, they're not going after the children.
What does it mean to put sanctions on the children of the prosecutor?
My point is, but that's not a mafioso bill. By the way, if that is...
Picking on the family members of someone?
Mehdi,
that's the kind of thing Donald Trump does to Congressman, not Dean Phillips.
You're an educated man. You know how the Congress works. You know how bills operate.
Just because I know how it works doesn't mean I agree with it, Congressman.
But when a lot of what you agree, when the overwhelming portion of a bill you agree with and you're forced with a yes or no, first of all, I don't vote present. I don't say I was there, I'm not taking a position. I say yes or no. And I think in this case, I registered my principle that the ICC did not conduct itself in a manner befitting of the court.
But you could have said that in a speech, in a statement, an article. You didn't need to vote for a bill which targets the family members of ICC officials.
And I'll say it to you right now, they shouldn't be targeted, the family members.
Okay, but you voted for that.
Mehdi, I vote for a lot of every single one you have on your show votes for things that we are forced.
But the majority of your colleagues chose not to vote for that, even though they probably agree with you.
42 Democrats, as you said, voted for it.
Just on the issue of war.
I would be more interested in what part of the process Dean Phillips is aware that the ICC didn't follow in their internal processes, but they did for Putin.
Yeah. Look, you know how Congress works. When I said note for the plaintiff, your daughter's tied up in a Brooklyn basement, I was just sending a message that I like due process.
Exactly. Nice family you got there. Maybe we should think about due process just a little bit more, don't you think?
Mehdi, do I need to play Schoolhouse Rock with you? You know how Washington works.
Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.